welcome back. We're going to continue on with our sweet sock. Our next goal is to do our foot. So we have our toe done, we have it hung, we have our multicolored yarn put in. And so our next step is to get our ribber going. We've set it on and we're going to start transferring our stitches over to the ribber. Now over here, we're going to show you how we use a transfer tool that we've made, and we are going to make sure we've got our dial lined up. We're going to slip in our transfer tool from the top in, slide it down, slip it into the ribber needle, slip it over, and then the next thing we'll do is lift up on that cylinder needle and take it out. Now we want to show you that process one more time. So we'll move that back over, make sure it's lined up properly. I want to show you the hook that we've opened up from an eye. There's the normal eye. We'll slip it in from the top, pull out that needle so we can get access to it. Slip it over the needle, put it into the ribber needle and take that stitch over. And as we continue talking here a bit about this, we'll continue showing you this transfer method. And you're going to slip in your needles every other ribber slot. Now that's going to give you 3 stitches in between on your cylinder, so that's a 3x1 rib. What we're showing you will also work for the 1x1 that you'll do later in the cuff. The 1x3 will take you from the toe ribbing that's over around the entire foot through all the rest of the sock up to the cuff. As you'll notice as I'm going along, I'm continually lining up the dial, and those 2 dots over there, I lined that up before I ever start knitting. Even without any knitting on the machine, you can line up your dial and mark it to the left front heel mark. That way when it comes on, you'll always know that you've got that dial lined up where it needs to be. All right, we're cranking around so that we can get access to the back side of the cylinder. And this can be the part that's a little harder to see. But as you go along, you'll find ways to use your transfer tool, like maybe just a direct transfer instead of sliding it along the tool itself. It can be easier on the back side. And it is important, above all, that you check as you go along. Is everything a 1x3? And do you have all of your cylinder needles out that need to be out before you start actually cranking around? Now for the foot, on the sweet sock that I made for a size 9, we only needed 60 rounds of ribbing. Now that's not the entire foot. You still have to count the toe, which is about 2 1/4 inches, and the heel, which is not quite 1 3/4 inches. So if you combine all of those together, we needed about 5 inches for our foot, and that required 60 rounds. Okay, we have our 60 rounds complete. Now our objective is to transfer our ribber needles back over to the front so that we can get started on doing our heel. Now we're going to need to take our needles out all the way over from half mark over here on the right side over to the half mark over here on the left side. Now we're going to take out all of those ribber needles by transferring them back over to the cylinder needles. We need to slip in our cylinder needles back in to the cylinder, and then we'll show you how we transfer those stitches over. And just as things weren't as they are in manuals when I transferred cylinder needles over to ribber needles, the way I do my ribber needles to cylinder needle transfer is a little different. So now we're putting in our cylinder needles all the way around over to as far as we can there on the right side where the double arm is for the ribber mechanism. And you want to be sure that you get them in there, because you get around and you'll start to transfer these little stitches, and then when there's not a needle there to take it, it makes it more difficult. Okay, so now our transfer is going to be really simple. Although it's going to look a little convoluted, I'm overreacting here because I want you to see the whole part. See how I'm lifting that right over? Okay, I don't normally go all the way over with my hand. I'm doing that to be sure that I'm out of the way of the camera. It's really easy to do, and it's actually fun to do. All these little steps that you take, you know, the whole thing about cranking out a sock isn't just cranking. It's all the little things that you do that are actually kind of fun. This is one of them. Okay, so we're going to do this continuous process of transferring over. And again, if you get your cylinder needles all in there where they need to be, this goes really fast. Right there is our last one to do, right there, that's it. And I want you to see that we've got all of our needles to the half mark plus 3. That way we won't have any river stitches being pulled over as the heel is being shaped. Now our next step, we need to start lifting our needles the same way we would if the river wasn't there. And it gets a little difficult here on the back, so we need to start cranking our tappet plate around to the front, but we don't want to go too far. You just want to go over there to this point there, which is about the maximum on the right hand side of the right front heel mark. The purpose of that is to keep the tappet from continuing to engage the river needles on the back side. You can't just push needles out on the river to have them go out of work. You have to either turn off your tappet plate or you have to move it to the front, take your pin out, and stop it there on the front side. Well, that's it for this YouTube video. Let's review a little bit. We're going to do our heel. And this is the heel that we want to accomplish in our next YouTube video in our shaping, where it's nice and snug, no holes. And over here in the corner, we don't have a rib needle being pulled out because of the shaping. And right here in the very corner where we start our heel, there's no hole there either. We're going to show you how you can do that on any sock you make, not just your sweet socks. So come back, look for the YouTube video on shaping the heel, and you can have a finished sweet sock all your own.